Ms. Moore.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to yield 5 seconds to the gentlelady from California, Ms. Sanchez.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. I would ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the nonpartisan policy research Yale Budget Lab analysis, which shows that $3,000 cut to household income because of Trump's tariffs.
Without objection.
Thank you. I yield back to Ms. Moore.
The Yale Budget Lab is staffed by
Thank you. This is my time,
former
sir.
Biden officials.
Where's the gavel, Mr. Chairman? He's taking up my time.
Proceed. The clock's moving, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. I want to join my colleagues on a bipartisan basis in regaling the life and times of Charlie Rangel. And actually, Mr. Chairman, were he alive today, today would be his 95th birthday. And you know, even if it weren't his birthday, I would have to have thought of Charlie Rangel at this moment and the last real close personal conversation that I had with him when I considered your testimony here today, Mr. Secretary, and some of the other sorts of inquiries and comments of my colleagues here when they talked about the averages. The average taxpayer is going to receive this or that. It's sort of like the example that you almost gave here. You know, one taxpayer gets $1 million tax refund, another one gets a $1 tax refund, and then the average tax refund is $500,050. I had a Jesuit education, so we learned about the tyranny of averages. You ignore the distribution and outliers. You mask variations and inequalities. It's asymmetrically distributed. It's skewed. Because you have heard my colleagues talk about the real impact. Somebody under $50,000 a year is going to get $265 versus others that get millions. That is not a question. That was my comment. Okay, so you and DOES were focused on eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. So let me just sort of outline some of the waste, fraud, and abuse that you found and tell me yes or no, was this what you found? $641 billion in subsidies for the ACA, $764 billion in Medicaid cuts, $300 billion in SNAP cuts, and then triggering $500 billion in Medicare cuts. Was that all waste, fraud, and abuse? Yes or no?
Again, ma'am, it's very, very difficult to give a
yes those are the cuts. Okay, I'll move on. You're not going to answer.
Very difficult.
What I'd like to know is the $2.4 billion in debt and the tax increases of $4.5 trillion. Is that not spending? Are tax cuts spending and creating, especially, not just adding to the debt, but the interest rates on the debt? Is that or is that not spending, yes or no? Are tax cuts, if I give you a tax cut, am I spending out of the Treasury to do that? Yes or no?
Not if we,
Mr. Secretary.
not if we create more income.
Okay,
than the nature of
we're talking about a gambler's fallacy with projecting growth that's never been proven by anybody, anything. So I will move on because I see my time is waning. Let me ask you some more questions. Do you think that a problem we have in our tax code is that we have $700 billion a year in a tax gap because you know, the very wealthy are evading illegally their tax responsibilities? Is that or is that not waste, fraud, and abuse? Would you characterize that as waste, fraud, and abuse?
I
mean, I'm just a simple question. Is that waste, fraud, and abuse?
My priorities are collection, privacy, and customer
okay,
service.
So, but you didn't. We're not collecting that, and you cut 31% of the budget from the IRS that would have actually, you know, processed these claims.
The largest budget cut was in the IT department that began its the modernization in 1990.
Okay, the
and has
true
spent
cost
more-
of
has spent
economic
more than
security
$50 billion.
has determined that 50% of Americans are financially insecure. 50% of Americans. So do you think that any of them are going to suffer from the cuts in Medicaid, SNAP, and ACA not to have these resources available to them? Yes or no?
I believe that they will be better.
Better off
under
without these
under this
resources.
tax bill, just as they were under President Trump's last term, as opposed to the ravages of inflation under President Biden's term.
Well, let me just ask this. Why is this bill designed to take away some of the benefits that you claim people are going to have? They expire, like the senior tax credit expires, all of these things that these families are supposed to get. If you're so into uplifting their needs, why do they expire?
No tax on tips?
No tax on tips expires.
Sorry?
It expires. And it's not really a
Well,
decrease on tax on tips.
If you would like to join me and making it permanent and have your Democratic
You're
colleagues
you're
do it,
the
then-
secretary.
then
You're
we-
the secretary,
we-
sir.
we
You
would
wrote the
wel-
budget.
We would welcome you to join us.
Excuse me?
We would welcome you to join us.
I'm ready to
And-
join you right now. Are you
and-
going
and-
to accept an amendment?
Time has expired,
Makes
Ms.
this-
Moore, by over a minute. I was very generous,
Thank you.
but way
Mr.
too
Chair,